What is up, everybody? It's your boy Kiwi here. We are doing another draft analysis, this time for Gen 9 in the YCL Season 7, I believe it is, the YouTube Championship League. We've been a consistent participant for a few seasons now. Gen 9 is pretty crazy, adding the whole Terra element to the game. Pretty exciting. This team that we have here today, that you see the list on the left with their points in the farthest left column, our total I think of 85, I forget, something like that. We got to pick up Dragapult, which is pretty sick. Generally speaking, we never get Dragapult. It's usually gone in the first pick. We have a nice little Fairy Steel Dragon Core there, Dragapult, Corviknight, Azumarill. What I was trying to say earlier was that I'm pretty excited for this team because the only two mons that I think I have used on this team was Corviknight and Garganacl. Garganacl's putting in work for me right now in the NPA. We're undefeated in there, 3-0. Pretty strong this season. And I'm looking forward to it. Potential terrors for this team, guys, is Crook and Muck. I think we had 13 points total. I might do a swap later on in the season just because I'm a little iffy, but I wanted to have one offensive and one defensive Terra available. I probably should have just done Garganacl. I'll probably just do Garganacl in the end. Garganacl, Leafeon. It's going to be 2 transactions, which kind of suck. But if you guys know me, I never make trades or like mon movements on my team. I always stick it through with the same team. I feel like it really tests me to pull out as much potential as I can from each mon, as opposed to just saying, okay, my team is weak to this, or I need to fill the gap like this. I think the Terra availability also adds that dynamic to fill the hole that your team potentially has, right? So enough rambling. Let's get into the first one, which you already see on screen, which is Dragapult. This man is fast AF, bruv. Base 142, and it's got amazing attack and stats. It's so versatile. It's super versatile. It's got setup in DD. It's got momentum with U-turn. Its typing is pretty good. It allows you to dodge normal and fighting types, being a ghost. The only downside that I saw to picking up this mon was that it was at 15 points in terms of cost, and the peak Terra availability was 13 points total, meaning you can't Terra this mon. In other leagues it is available to Terra, but I can understand why you wouldn't potentially want to Terra, because this thing is just too broken. It is what it is. Its move pool is freaking amazing, guys. It's got access to like Hydro Pump, Thunderbolt, obviously the Ghost and Dragon. It's got pretty good coverage. The next one we're rolling into is actually one of the only 2 mons that we've used before, which is Corviknight. I'm pretty comfortable with this mon. Generally speaking, I've seen so many different ways to play this mon, but like I said, generally speaking, I use this mon in a more defensive manner. I noticed one thing in this particular gen, that a lot of mons lost defog that used to have it, like for example the Rotoms. I wanted to have a pretty good form of hazard removal, and I felt that Corviknight was a safe way to do so, even though it is pretty susceptible to a lot of like Volt Switch plays. It's not going to die. It's generally going to be able to take one. I mean, what scenario? I mean, I'm not going to think of one off the top of my head. Maybe like a Spec Jolteon Thunderbolt, maybe. But it should be able to take one and get the defog off. And then we have Roost, obviously. And then the momentum plays with U-turn. You could do the super defensive ID body press set as well. I've seen Bishme pull off the agility ID weakness policy power trip. Like, there's a lot of potential plays in there, right? Base speed is decent, 85. It's very mid. Better than what I'm saying, I'm tripping. 67 is better than a few of the other defensive mons in this meta. Sorry, I was looking at special defense, but definitely looking to make more plays I'm comfortable with this Corviknight, as opposed to really like feeling out the other mons that I'm new with. Number 3, we're going to be moving into the Azumarill. I'm really excited to pick up this mon. It's the first time I've got to pick up this mon. Obviously, its ability, Big Power, or is it Big Power? Is that what it's called? I think it's Big Power. But doubling the attack stat and then having access to Belly Drum, massive. massive. A +6 double attack. Well, double attack then +6. Aqua Jet is pretty amazing. Even in a resisted scenario, it's a lot of cases is doing a pretty big chunk, over 50%. That's the type of stuff we like to see, alright? Also being a fairy type, it is able to block the dragon's moves. No more dropping Dracos. Usually I generally tend to veer away from picking or initially picking up a fairy type mon. I can't remember the last time I picked up a fairy type right off rip. I really don't. So Azumarill is one of the first in a long time for me. Looking to put in some pain with this thing. Could also just run it banded, which is pretty huge. I mean, banded Azumarill with liquidation and play rough does hurt. Another side note that I do want to mention, this thing, it has access to Sap for the availability, has the ability, which is pretty good, blocking the grass type moves. So yeah, Azumarill looking to put in some pain. I don't think people ever played a defensive one, or at least I've never played a defensive one. Yeah, no. Alright, let's move into Garganackle. This mon, I absolutely love this mon. It's so Minecraft based, but this thing is just amazing to me. I've actually picked it up, I think, in 3 leagues now, and just the accessibility it has, bro. Like, this thing is awesome. If you guys look at its base stats, it's 100 HP, 100 attack, man, 130 defense, and 90 speed def. Having 130 base defense is pretty amazing. It means you can run this thing fully speed def and still be able to take physical hits as well pretty decently. Having base 100 physical attack, that's pretty OP in my opinion. To add that in the mix of this mon's defensive capabilities. I mean, I've run Terry Farah Garganical and it clapped. Like, it clapped. Purifying Soul reducing the ghost type moves as well, you know, like somebody trying to come in there and shadow ball you. It's pretty crazy. I personally like it as a pretty good block to Terra normal Dragonite, because you could just ghost Terra and then block the extreme speed, and then on the counter side, if someone brings in a ghost type, because at that point you're only looking at ghost and dark moves to really hit you. If someone brings in a ghost type, the Purifying Salt reduces the attack damage by half. So the super effective is basically wiped away from that, which is pretty amazing. Access to Stealth Rocks, obviously, big thing. It has access to Recover, big thing. And then, you know, the generic like defense bulky type moveset, you know, body press, ID. It has a great move pool as well, so I had to take this mon as a staple. I've gotten so like comfortable, I'll say, with Garganackle already that I feel like, again, Corviknight Garganackle kind of buffering to make up for the mistakes of me potentially having with the newer mons and being bulky. All right, the next one is going to be Crocodile. I said like that if you're a One Piece fan, you know. Crocodile, the dark ground type. I was actually pretty disappointed in this. This is the first season I've ever, or first time in a league I've ever been able to pick this up. And I love this mon, but it sucks that they took away knockoff in the shed. I can't believe it. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but when I went on Showdown, I was trying to build a team already, because we're in week 1 technically by the time you see this video. I didn't have access to knockoff, which really sucked. Dark ground type, pretty cool. Access to Intimidate and Moxie. Moxie's a huge thing, especially if you scarf this thing. Its base attack is pretty good at 117. The speed is pretty good at 92. Other than that, you know, I mean, people do run this thing like assault vested and bulky defense because of Intimidate drop. It's doable, but me personally, I don't like that playstyle with it. That's just me again, guys. I wish it did have knockoff, but it is what it is. A lot of things changed in this gen. Hoping to pull off some crazy sweeps with this thing sometime soon. Into the next, Armarouge. Yo, this is one of the mons I am most excited for by far. I know the favorable one of the two is actually the whatchamacallit, the Cerulege. As you guys see the team mascot for this season. Yo, new gen, new logo, you know what's up. I'm working on a few different logos actually, but I just found it funny that I ran the Cerulege logo in the league that I picked up Armarouge. this mon is pretty sick in the sense where I think it has more, honestly, more playability than, or viability than Ceruledge. It has great like base defense at 100, so it gives you the opportunity to really get the weak armor play off, which is weak armor is if you're hit by a physical move, your defense stats drop by 1 but your speed doubles, which is pretty huge with this mon. Its base speed is relatively mid, what is it, 75 I think, right? Yeah, 75, and at +2 you outspeed a lot of things unless they're Scarf now, so that's pretty amazing considering this thing hits like a truck with armor cannon. I have a pretty sick set that I want to get off in week 1. You know, if I do get this off, it'll be pretty amazing considering I've never used this mon before, and he has a lot of ways to counter me. Hope I do. It has good coverage, energy ball, psychic, obviously, fairy, not fairy, fire, obviously. And it has a lot of different ways to set up as well. So looking to pull off some crazy sweeps with this thing too, because of that weak armor tech. All right, let's roll into the next. This is one of my more favorable parts of the team. I was trying to pick up a lot of evolutions, guys. I haven't gotten to use any evolutions before. First time again. So this time we got Jolteon, Glaceon, Leafeon. And I was actually surprised when I built this team because Glaceon and Leafeon have some crazy base defense, bro. 110 for Glaceon, but we're not talking about Glaceon or Leafeon, but I just want to mention it. And 130 for Leafeon, crazy. Jolteon, however, he's looking to be a fast, hard-hitting pivot. Generally speaking, I think in previous gens, this thing didn't even have access to Calm Mind, but it does this season, if I'm correct. You can correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. But being able to substitute Calm Mind with Terra on this thing, it's pretty crazy. Jolteon was another potential Terra for me, but I didn't move forward with it just because I felt like Crook was better. But after seeing that Crook didn't get a knockoff, I felt in a lot of scenarios I wouldn't be using Crook as much. Sorry guys, my dog is going kind of crazy. Don't know why. She's looking at something. So Jolteon, there's a lot of playability with this thing. I think I might switch one of my Terra Captains to Jolteon. I might remove Crook. Yeah, I'll probably do that. Remove Crook and add Jolteon. Just for the memes with the Calm Mind Terra Blast. Next evolution in line is going to be Glaceon. Glaceon has a great move pool as well. It hits like a truck as well at 130 attack. It's got access to Freeze Dry, Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, I think Water Pulse, a bunch of different things. It makes it very potent in terms of like mid damage. Like if you're going for the mid ground play, it's pretty good. I like it because it kind of just smokes Vaporeon too. That Freeze Dry really hurts on Vaporeon, even if it's Spadef Wall. Dindozo and all that nonsense. Yeah, bring them on, bruh. The next evolution in line is going to be Leafeon. I don't know how to use this thing at all. I'm not going to hold you. I've only seen this thing as a chlorophyll sweeper, but after I saw base 130 defense, I was like, holy crap. There's so many ways to play this thing. It's pretty fast. It's at 95 base speed. It's actually the 3rd fastest mon on my team. I'm not sure how I can get off the chlorophyll sweep potential easily. Maybe I can run like Sunny Day Armarouge, but I don't see myself doing it yet just because I want to play Armarouge in a different style. I might catch somebody off guard with a fully defensive Leafeon. I don't know. Probably after they watch this video I wouldn't, but you get the idea. Muck. I've never used this thing, but I think I played it against it a couple weeks ago on Showdown, and this thing annoyed the crap out of me. Like, just absolute troll of a mon. And I think having access to Terra Blast with it when you're playing in a draft scenario as opposed to a random encounter battle, it's definitely great because you're able to block out one of the few weaknesses this thing has. I mean, I think the only way this could have gotten or been better in general is if I had Alolan Muck with the dark typing as well. But you know, can't complain. It has Toxic Spikes, has Priority and Shadow Sneak, which is pretty good. Because a lot of times a Ghost Switch-In is a viable switch-in on Muck because they resist poison. So, you know, having the Shadow Sneak is pretty good. I think it'll put in a lot of work for me. And I definitely feel, guys, that this season or in this league right now, my team is pretty balanced. If you look at the averages across the board, my lowest is an 80 in speed, and it's really not the worst, because the thing is, like, the gap between the top and the bottom is so big that that's the average. So it doesn't mean that I have only one fast mon. I've got base 142 Dragapult and 130 Jolteon. I'm pretty content with those two. That means I have a really fast special attacking and a very hard hitting physical attacking in Dragapult, which also has pretty good attack too. So, you know, if Jolteon couldn't come that week, or wasn't opportune to come that week, or in this battle per se, then Dragapult could kind of fill the hole if I needed a special attacker that was fast AF. So yeah, you know, I think this is pretty much the most balanced team I've ever drafted in terms of like individual stat averages. This is just my opinion. I feel that in this gen, physical attackers dominate more than special. I mean, correct me or drop your opinion down below. And I think it's pretty nice that I picked up a team with a higher average defense than Spadef. I felt like it definitely geared towards more of my playstyle and the way the meta is run right now. You know, with things like Annihilate and, you know, Extreme Speed, Dragonite. I mean, I don't know if you guys have played like Battle Stadium singles. Those things are hella annoying. So, you know, I feel like the defense numbers I have are pretty doable. Make up maybe for a mistake or two that I can make in a battle, because, you know, they do happen. Not looking to lose any games off of them, obviously, so having them is definitely a plus. Alright guys, that's all you're gonna get out of me for this draft analysis. I'm actually like strapped for time. I'm in the middle of packing and editing and doing everything. I'm actually heading out to Jamaica in like, it'll be tomorrow, because this upload's coming up on Saturday. So if you felt I was missing anything, yo, ask me the question down below in the comments. Anything you want to let me know, just drop the comment. Guys, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel, smash the thumbs up button. It does help me a lot. And I'll see you guys in week 1 when we face off against, I think, the Boston Red Claws, I think it is. And I believe the coach is Curse Shaka. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. Kiwi and Team Tempest out.